The perception of dumb art. When people visit high-end galleries or see headlines about someone spending $50 million on what looks like a blank canvas or a banana taped to a wall, the first reaction is often disbelief. Many think, I could do that at home. Why would anyone pay that much? This reaction is common because much of the contemporary art that sells for astronomical prices often appears simple or even childish. It challenges our traditional idea of what good art looks like. Landscapes, portraits, or sculptures that require obvious skill and effort. Yet wealthy collectors flock to buy these pieces. The question is, why? Art as a status symbol. One of the biggest reasons is that art has always been tied to status. In the Renaissance, nobles and kings commissioned grand paintings and sculptures to display their wealth and taste. Today's billionaires do the same, though the art may look more abstract or minimalistic. Buying expensive art is a way for the wealthy to signal that they belong to an exclusive circle, one that appreciates and can afford objects most people cannot. The more unconventional or dumb the piece looks to the general public, the more it can function as a badge of insider knowledge. Scarcity and exclusivity. A major driver of value in the art market is scarcity. There's only one original Mona Lisa, one Banksy girl with balloon in its specific shredded frame, or one version of Maurizio Catalan's infamous banana art taped to a wall at Art Basel. When rich buyers acquire such a piece, they're buying something unique, something no one else can own. Even if the work itself seems trivial, its rarity transforms it into a luxury good. In the world of billionaires, where most things can be bought, owning something truly one of a kind carries enormous prestige. Art as an investment. For many wealthy individuals, art isn't just decoration, it's a financial asset. The global art market is worth tens of billions of dollars, and certain artists' works appreciate dramatically over time. For example, Jean-Michel Basquiat's paintings sold for a few $1,000s in the 1980s. Today, some of them sell for over $100 million. For collectors, buying the right piece of dumb-looking art early on can lead to huge returns. Art is also an attractive investment because it's not tied to traditional markets like stocks or real estate. During periods of economic uncertainty, wealthy people often move money into physical assets like art, tax advantages, and wealth storage. Another less glamorous but very practical reason is that art can help with tax strategies and wealth storage. In many countries, buying and selling art can be structured in ways that minimize taxes. For example, wealthy individuals can store their art in free ports, secure, duty-free storage facilities, where the artworks may appreciate in value while avoiding certain import taxes. Art can also be passed on to heirs in ways that reduce estate taxes. In short, art often serves as a discreet and portable store of wealth. A painting can be worth as much as a mansion, but can be moved, hidden, or stored much more easily. The influence of art dealers and galleries. The modern art world is heavily shaped by dealers, galleries, and auction houses. These institutions play a crucial role in deciding which artists are important and which works are valuable. When a prominent gallery or auction house endorses an artist, the price of their work can skyrocket. Often, it's not about the intrinsic skill or visual appeal of the art, but the reputation that comes with it. Wealthy buyers trust these institutions to guide them toward pieces likely to hold or increase in value. The role of art fairs and auctions. Prestigious art fairs like Art Basel or Frieze and auction houses like Christie's and Sotheby's often create an atmosphere of competition and urgency. When a wealthy buyer bids for a piece in a packed auction room or in front of a global live stream, it's not just about the art. It's also about prestige and winning. This competition can push prices to outrageous heights, especially for works that seem simple or even absurd to outsiders. In some cases, buyers overpay simply to secure a trophy that proves they can afford it. Conceptual value versus visual appeal. A big reason why dumb art sells is because, in the modern art world, ideas matter as much as execution. Conceptual artists often create pieces that look simple but carry complex messages about society, politics, or even the art market itself. Maurizio Catalan's banana duct tape to a wall, for instance, wasn't just a joke, it was a commentary on consumerism and the absurdity of the art market. Wealthy collectors often value the statement behind the piece as much as, or more than, the object itself. To them, owning the idea is just as significant as owning the physical artwork. Social signaling and cultural capital. Buying and displaying contemporary art also signals cultural sophistication. It suggests that the collector is educated, plugged into elite cultural networks, and capable of appreciating ideas that others might dismiss. This form of cultural capital is valuable in high society. Hosting a dinner party in front of a famous contemporary piece or lending it to a museum exhibition enhances the collector's reputation, reinforcing their place among cultural and financial elites. Emotional connection and storytelling. Not all motivations are financial or status-driven. Sometimes wealthy collectors buy art because they feel a personal connection to it, or to the story behind it. Many modern pieces are accompanied by compelling narratives. The tragic life of an artist like Basquiat, the rebellious spirit of Banksy, or the provocative humor of Catalan. These stories add depth and make the ownership of the art feel meaningful, even if the object itself looks deceptively simple. The role of hype and media. In today's digital age, the art world is heavily influenced by media coverage and viral moments. When an artwork becomes a headline, like the shredded Banksy painting or the banana at Art Basel, its notoriety often increases its value. Wealthy buyers sometimes purchase these works not because they love them, but because they know they'll be talked about. Owning a piece that went viral is a way of owning a slice of cultural history. The psychology of scarcity and competition. Scarcity and competition create a powerful psychological effect. When billionaires compete to buy a specific piece, its price escalates, not necessarily because it's worth that much in any traditional sense, but because exclusivity itself becomes the product. The higher the price climbs, the more desirable the piece appears to others, creating a feedback loop that drives demand even further. Art as a hedge against inflation and unstable markets. Beyond status and culture, art is also a hedge against inflation. While the value of money can erode over time, the value of rare artworks often rises, especially for pieces by established artists. In times of economic uncertainty or market volatility, wealthy investors often turn to art to diversify their portfolios. The fact that some of this art looks dumb doesn't matter as long as it holds value. A different definition of value. Ultimately, the reason rich people buy what seems like dumb art is that they operate under a different definition of value. For the average person, value might come from beauty, effort, or personal utility. For the wealthy, value can come from scarcity, reputation, cultural capital, or strategic financial positioning. In this sense, the dumbness of the art is often beside the point. What matters is what the piece represents: exclusivity, prestige, investment potential, or cultural importance. Lessons for everyone. Understanding why the wealthy buy such art reveals important truths about markets in general. Price is not always tied to obvious quality. Sometimes it's tied to perception, narrative, and scarcity. This dynamic isn't limited to art. It applies to luxury watches, designer fashion, rare cars, and even cryptocurrencies. The market often rewards uniqueness and story as much as utility. For most people, this insight can be empowering. It shows how powerful branding, storytelling, and perception can be in shaping what society considers valuable.